on the other line with my agent, so make this quick.
Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of Let's Play Spider-Man Web of Shadows Amazing Allies Edition for the PS2. I kind of forgot the name there a little bit, but you can't blame me, right? It's a long name. So anyway, in the last part we defeated the Shocker, and now we have to keep trying to gather supplies for the big device that S.H.I.E.L.D. is making. So we've come down to the sewers. I think. No, this is a subway. It goes into the sewers. Spoilers for that. So yeah, so this is actually... I guess I should give this away. This is Kraven's level. Like I said before, each level is based around a villain. Not really, but it all kind of builds up to a boss fight, and for this one it's Kraven. Although you wouldn't really know that for the first half of this level. So the gimmick of this beginning part is that there's trains, because it's a subway, so your spider senses will kind of tingle, and then you gotta get out of the way. See, there you go, avoid getting hit by trains. And that was like a speech. I guess Spider-Man told himself, avoid getting hit by trains, and then he was like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very odd internal dialogue, but yeah, it's not that hard. It's not that hard at all. But yeah, so this level, it's, I don't know, it's playable. I guess. The more I kind of play this game, the more I kind of like get numb to it. I know, so when I was playing this level I was kind of a bit numb to it really, and was like, you know what, this is perfectly playable, but the level itself, you can see it's just like, so it's 2D, but we got all these like corners that we have to go around for some reason, and you're just, for the very beginning part, you're just going round, and then you got stuff like that where you just go in a hole, and the guy's like, you're not supposed to be here, so you just leave. Like, okay, cool. Doesn't really make much sense. But there's no real strategy to avoiding these trains, by the way, which is why I'm not explaining it. You just gotta web to the walls. I mean, I guess you could hide down in those holes, but in these holes there was this whole, like, dialogue thing going on, where if you go down all of them and speak to the people, and then also, you know, hover a little bit on a box, you can do that if you want. There's like a whole thing where there's somebody who's complaining about being underappreciated, and then this guy's like, I hate that guy who complains. That's about it. I think the writing in this game is actually okay. I don't think it's horrible writing. It's just, I mean, I already said it, but it's just the fact that it's all just in your face text boxes. But the writing's actually okay. It's not that bad at all. So, I don't know, but it's just... This level, okay, so first of all, it's ugly. Okay, it's a very ugly level, but oh, hold on. Telephone call from, you know, this guy with the glasses. We're going to see him a bit later on. He doesn't really say that much. He just says, I'm going to have my revenge on the new Spider-Man. But this is just a, hey, this is a villain. He exists. Stay tuned. So yeah, so that's all that was. That was a courtesy, I exist in this game, cool. And we'll see him later, but not for the rest of this mission. But yeah, it's just dull, this kind of mission. It's there's not much to say about it. It's like, it's just kind of ugly, and avoiding trains. I mean, I guess it's fine as like a gimmick. You gotta shoot up and avoid trains sometimes. I guess that's okay. But again, still no real proof that the symbiotes have taken over the city. One of the people we talked to, we may have already talked to him, is saying, oh no, here he is. Here's the guy. He's talking about October. Oh, Halloween. Yeah, this is a clever guy. Very clever guy. But yeah, this guy says how he's like, I'd rather be down here than on the surface because it's safer. But there's a load of goons down here. But then it's like, no, it's not. It's not. There's nothing going on the streets. There's no... Maybe I'm harping on about this too much, which is fair enough. That would be a fair enough statement. But there's nothing, we've seen no evidence of the symbiotes at all. In this level we get a couple like purple stripes, but even so down here seems to be fine. On the surface was fine, everything's fine. It's just kind of a good time. So I also found out that the voices are going to be much louder in this part, because remember how I complained about the voices being too quiet? There's a pointless guy. Probably to do with a side mission, but whatever. Yeah, so the voices, you can turn them up, but by default, again, this is maybe a very small thing to harp on, but by default you have your music and you have the SFX set in the middle, but you have voices set to a quarter. And they're just too quiet, and I don't know why that's the default. And it's definitely the default because I checked on a second memory card just to be sure. And yet that's the default. So the voices are going to be very loud in this part because I turned it all the way up to max. But there's Kraven, and something that you may notice is that I don't read the Spider-Man comics. I should start. At some point I will start because I do really like Spider-Man. I don't read them. But from what I can tell from Kraven, they try to make him have some sort of sophistication to him. Like he's a hunter, but he seems to have some sort of like respect. You know, for people and whatever. He hunts and kills, sure, but he seems to have, you know, some sort of respect and some sort of dignity to what he does. This Carnation, not so much. He's just kind of made a load of bear traps, and then he has this horrendous grin on his face that we will see again. So they kind of missed the ball with this one. Kraven in this game is pretty much just somebody to fight. Like, he doesn't really matter, he doesn't really impact the plot in any way. It's just a villain to kind of take out. But even in Shattered Dimensions on the 360, even though again he's just kind of a villain, it's a bit more interesting. Like, there's a bit more to him. Like, half this level isn't even about Kraven. It's only become about him now that we've got to this part. And the whole point in this part, and it kind of sucks, is that you're trying to hit these switches to get all the way to the left, because you're trying to get to left and get the Kraven, but it's like not as simple. You got to hit certain switches to move the trains, and it's not really a puzzle because it's pretty simple. You just hit a switch and then boom, the path opens up. But it's just kind of weird because it is almost maze-like. Like, for some reason the camera has zoomed in really far for this section, and I guess that was done intentionally so you don't know where you're going. I mean, if you guys have been paying attention, you may notice that there's no real, you know, before we were just going right, but now we're just kind of going up and down and all around. We're just going all over the place in the sewers. And then you got that train that moves, so you have to go all the way around. But it can be a little confusing. Not confusing enough, and it isn't complex enough that you're going to get stuck, but it's just kind of unnecessarily confusing. Because if the camera was zoomed out just a little more, you would get a better sense of where you are in the space and all that kind of stuff. But because it's zoomed in as much as it is, you just kind of can't see. Like, you can't see where the next entrance is. You just kind of have to guess. And you also have to avoid Kraven's traps, which aren't that deadly at all. As you just saw, I got caught by one there. Not that deadly. And look at his stupid grin. I hope you saw it. We're going to see it again because it's awesome. It's an awesome grin, but he just looks stupid. He looks really, really stupid. And then if this is like your first time playing, obviously the camera zoomed in, so you're probably not going to be able to see those traps. So you may be just like swinging around trying to find out where you're to go. Like, sometimes you have to fall down one of these things, like when the ground caves in, sometimes you don't. I know I'm complaining a lot about this section, and it's fine, you can get through it, it's not painfully hard. It's just like, who played this and was like, yeah, no, I'm happy with this. Zoom in the camera a bit more, please, and then we'll put some random traps, and then we'll just make it like awkward to swing around, because it's awkward with the controls to swing, well, not to swing, but to attach onto stuff and to detach. It's one of those things that is kind of hard to describe, but when you play it, you find yourself sticking to walls. And that's like the hardest thing with a Spider-Man game, or one of them. Sometimes you just stick to walls. And this game, you know, does that, for sure. But here we are. Look at him, it's just a little, like, gremlin almost fella, with his little hunchback. There's no dignity to him, he looks almost mutated. But I don't think Kraven is supposed to be some sort of mutant. I could be wrong, but I think he was just meant to be a hunter, but he was someone who's very good at it. Maybe he probably does have superpowers as well, but it's not this guy. It's not him. And one downside you're going to notice in this fight, to me turning up the voices, is that they will not shut up. It's constant. They are going to be constantly yapping onto each other throughout this whole fight. So I'm going to show both times, a bit like Venom, I'm going to show both times I did this fight because it's very quick. As you can see, Kraven can take you out really quickly, so this is another one where I would recommend using your summons. Just try and summon stuff. There's one called Solidarity where they, like, the people of New York throw rubbish at him, so use that, I guess. But yeah, because it's not overly difficult, this fight. You can get it done very quickly, and stupid Sandman, but he can take health from you away so quickly that if you're going to win, it's going to happen quick. You're going to quickly beat him up or whatever. And because he doesn't telegraph his attacks and you just kind of have to just jump around, there's no real tactics to avoiding them. So you just kind of got to do your best here. You just got to use your summons, you got to try and attack him when he's exposed. Again, sometimes you will just miss and that's fun. Make sure you don't get hit by the throwing knife, because I think that takes away like a third of your health. And yeah, it's not. See, look at that. He's just too powerful. But after you do it a few times, it's pretty much fine. And then Spider-Man's all like, well, I'm off. And then Kraven's just still lying there. I love the production values in this game. I just love them. But yeah, the fight isn't too hard, but you probably will be killed very quickly if you're not careful, because he is really powerful. Like, Venom wasn't too hard hitting, he was just cheap. That guy's really hard hitting and a little cheap. So yeah, now we don't have any summons, which is quite annoying, and it seems to be a bit random how you get the power up, so we're just going to equip some random buffs instead, but I'll talk about that more in the next part. So next time in Let's Play Spider-Man Web of Shadows Amazing Allies Edition, he gave us a hint that Rhino is nearby in a secret lab, so we're going to go track him down. So I've been HonestStorm23, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.